In today's news, the BVI reports an additional 3 COVID-19 cases and Anthony Angol sentenced for failure to declare over $800,000.
As well as BVI Tourists now frustrated over the delay in their COVID-19 test results, and Honorable Sharie De Castro participates in the first virtual Commonwealth Youth Parliament. All that and so much more when 284 News returns. Hello viewers, and welcome to another edition of 284 News out of the beautiful British Virgin Islands with 284 Media. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I am Kyla Kenesha Forbes. Of course, we are here to basically count down the days to Christmas with your local, regional, and international content. Now, Javon, we are just 2 days away from Christmas Day. Now, viewers, we'll start off with our new summary. So just today, the BVIs have reported an additional 3 COVID-19 cases. Now, statistics have came out, and that brings the total of COVID-19 cases reported in the territory to 93, with total active cases at 14. The last count we had, Javon, was 11. So we see where that addition of 3 additional cases are there. We see where 8 of those active cases are in Tortola and 5 of them in Virgin Gorda. Now, at this time, taping time, we don't have specific details as to the 3 additional cases, but of course, viewers, we will update you as soon as we get that information.
And interestingly, Kyla, the last toll we had, which was 11, and that was just about a week ago.
Right.
That toll said that of the 11 positive cases, 9 of those were incoming tourists and 2 residents. But like you said, the information has not been clarified. But interestingly, viewers, if we're to pull up that flyer once again, you would see that currently the samples taken are 11,908 samples from 11,894 persons. Now, Kyla, when we look at the previous epidemiological records, it says that 7,599 persons was tested, and that was back on December 2nd.
Right.
I think between that time and now, it's very telling. While we may not be able to identify, and we have reached out for this information, but it was not yet released to us. One of the things we're trying to ascertain is how many persons are coming into the territory, and whether we have the health capacity to handle those numbers. And while we were not able to confirm those numbers, I think it's very telling in itself when we look at the comparison between that December 2nd date that said we had 7,599 persons tested to today, where we see 11,894 persons.
So that is approximately, let's say, 4,000 persons. Those tests might include the 4 tests or the 3 tests that persons take entering into the territory, as well as persons leaving the territory. But that information, as you said, Javon, is very important as to how many persons, tourist residents, are entering the BVI, especially at this time.
Absolutely. And we're going to get into our capacity as well as a territory to handle those numbers. Additionally, we see some tourists really speaking out in frustration against what they're calling a delay in getting their COVID-19 results. Now, earlier in this month, we spoke to the Honorable Minister about this situation, and one of the things he highlighted was the fact that there were some technical difficulties with the testing process, as well as we saw the government repurposing staff to ensure that we have enough health professionals to handle that. So we'll be getting into those frustrations. We actually have some comments from the tourists, as well as Kamala Harris, who of course is the Vice President elect for the United States of America. She is set to have a Caribbean-centric inauguration with lots of cultural performances and of course Caribbean headliners. So much to get into on today's newscast. Viewers, we're going to begin with the tourists and that frustration. Now, 284 Media is in receipt of several complaints from tourists who are still awaiting their COVID-19 test results, in some instances 6 days after arriving here in the British Virgin Islands. Now, one frustrated tourist wrote, and I quote, "Please investigate the government's failure to follow through with their level 2 rollout plan for receiving people into the island. I am a first-time visitor to the island. The duration of my visit is about 11 days. Today is the 6th day since my arrival and in quarantine. I am still waiting on the results for day 1 as well as day 4. I have called the relevant agencies. They are either rude or not answering the phone. This is not my experience alone. Other persons are experiencing similar difficulties." End of quote. Now, viewers, other persons indeed have shared with us that they are yet to receive results of the tests administered upon arrival of 4 to 5 days after entering the territory. Our 284 Media reporter took the opportunity to reach out to Minister of Health, Honorable Carvin Malone, today, December 23rd, to question the reasoning behind these delays and what is being done to speed up that process. However, no response has been given on matters relating to COVID-19 since December 8th of 2020, of course, earlier this month. Now, among the brewing concerns prior to the grand reopening of the borders back on December 1st, one of the main things our residents was concerned about was preparedness as it relates to our health capacity, Kyla. The government of the Virgin Islands has spent in excess of $15 million to procure products, covering training as well as retrofitting the testing and isolation units for COVID-19 cases as well as possible surges. Additionally, we do know that the United Kingdom has assisted with testing materials. However, the populace is yet to be updated on the current testing capacity and how local authorities have been coping with the influx of tourists and residents. Now, in a December 7th address, Honorable Carvin Malone highlighted some technical challenges and government's effort as well to repurpose staff to speed up the turnaround process for testing. Honorable Malone said, and I quote, "We have some challenges in terms of gathering all the data because the automation part of it will come. But we are growing and we are adding the facilities necessary to be able to automate responses. Number 1, from the entry protocol, the automatic advisory as to whether or not you have tested negative or positive, so you would know exactly what to do. So we would lessen that time that people are now experiencing." He also added, "It is an open secret that we must go to where you take the test at 11 o'clock on the 4th day to get it 11 the next day. But we have some areas that we are sorting out as we speak." Premier spoke to being able to increase the staff. We trained just about 6 persons on December 7th to assist with different areas. We were able to transition a number of people from different departments who are very enthusiastic about this and making sure of that for the love of the country, that they would be able to lend support where it is needed. That was Honorable Carvin Malone earlier this month. As of December 17th, the epidemiological records indicated that we had 11 active cases, but of course those numbers were updated as of today. We now have 14 active cases, and of that total, we are sure that at least 9 were incoming tourists and 2 were residents. The rest is yet to be clarified.
Most definitely. Now, Javon, as we've been speaking about this for quite some time since the reopening of the borders to tourists, and we've been saying it over and over that it's very important for us to work out those kinks as soon as possible. Now, this comment is very sad at the end of the day, and it saddens my heart because this really and truly reflects our tourism product. Yes, we have sand, beach, sea, but in this COVID-19 era, this turnaround time is very important for just that deciding factor if tourists will take that chance to come to our shores. Because imagine this.
11 days.
Yeah,
this
11
tourist
days.
had 11 days, and of that 11 days, 6 were taking up with waiting on these test results to return. So essentially, just a few days left, and we're not even sure if they were able to receive their results.
I do agree. Now, as we move forward, now in a government-issued press release, it was reported that on the 22nd of December 2020, Senior Magistrate Tamia Richards sentenced Anthony Angol. Angol was found guilty on December 14th, 2020 for 2 offenses that were before the court. These offenses are untrue declaration, contrary to Section 115(1)(a) of the Customs Management and Duties Act, number 6 of 2010 of the laws of the Virgin Islands. Also, failing to declare monies to Her Majesty's Customs, contrary to Section 87(4) Customs Management and Duties Act, number 6 of 2010 of the laws of the Virgin Islands. Now, here's an account, viewers, of the series of events on that day. Now, the Crown's case was that on Saturday, October 19th, 2019, Angol was one of 2 men who were occupants of a 30-foot dark-colored go-fast speedboat christened the Dark Knight, which was powered by 2 350 HP Mercury outboard engines. Now, the vessel was captained by Angol. Angol traveled on the mentioned vessel across from the USVI to Tortola at approximately 2 p.m. that afternoon. The vessel arrived at the West End Ferry Terminal. While there, Angol asked for and filled out a BVI Customs Declaration form indicating that there were certain items to be declared, such as numerous motorcycle helmets. Onwards, Customs Officer Michael Callwood, who was on duty at that time, collected the completed forms that had been signed by Angol. Now, Officer Callwood inquired whether there were other items to be declared, and this was answered in the negative, where he conducted Officer Callwood, of course, then boarded the vessel, where he conducted a search in the presence of Angol. Also present for the search was Custom Officer Myron Hastings. During the search, Officer Callwood noticed a black duffel bag in the bow of the vessel. He inquired from Angol as to the nature and the contents of the bag. Angol denied having any knowledge of the bag. Now, the bag was opened and searched by Officer Callwood, resulting in the discovery of a stack of United States currency bills. Upon making this discovery, Officer Callwood brought the discovery to the attention of Angol, who denied having any knowledge of the bag, that the bag was there, that is. He similarly denied knowing anything about the contents of the bag. Now, the customs personnel accordingly, as supposed to, contacted the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force for assistance. Now, police officers arrived on the scene and commenced their investigations. Now, officers from the Financial Crime Unit met with Angol and inquired of him as to the source of the funds. Angol maintained that he had no idea where the money came from and to whom the money belonged. The money was removed from the duffel bag and placed on examination, and the money was counted with a counting machine and used, and a total of $850,000 was recorded. Now, Angol participated in an interview under caution, and he indicated that he had no knowledge of the monies. Now, Angol spent 9 months in prison on remand. Now, the senior magistrate sentenced Angol to the following: on true declaration with time served, failing to declare monies to Her Majesty's Customs, given the totality principle, and defendant already spending 9 months in prison. This time taken in custody will be applied. A fine of $20,000 was also imposed in the event of non-payment. 6 months at HM prison will be imposed. Now, the amount that was found, over $850,000 were forfeited to the Crown.
That's a lot, Kyla, and
That's
quite
a lot of
mouthful.
money.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that justice was served in this capacity. Viewers, we're going to go to a very quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're getting into our very own Honorable Sharie De Castro participating in the first ever virtual Commonwealth Youth Parliament. Such a big deal. Sharie, of course, Honorable Sharie being a trailblazer, and of course, Honorable Malone investing in our healthcare professionals in our fight against COVID-19. All that and so much more when 284 News returns.
The win! Oh!
What are the hell?
I'm freaking out!
Is time.
284 News
Coming to you live and direct from the beautiful British Virgin Islands.
What's poppin', what's really good, what's happening, what's up?
Davis has won it for the
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now on we go with Honorable Sharie De Castro, our Junior Minister for Tourism. Of course, she represented recently by participating in the first ever virtual Commonwealth Youth Parliament, which saw the participation of around 50 youth parliamentarians from around the Commonwealth. Now, the event was held from Monday, December 14th to Friday, December 18th, and saw members debating the bill entitled, quote, Youth Employment Caused by the International Outbreak of COVID-19 and its Effects on the Fictional Jurisdiction that Acts as a Backdrop to the Program, Commonwealth Land, end of quote. Now, Honorable Sharie De Castro said that she enjoyed her experience and was able to appreciate her role as the proceeding officer and speaker during the event. The junior minister said, and I quote, On the fourth day of the Commonwealth Youth Parliament meeting, I had the role of Speaker of the House, where I participated and I invited participants to contribute to the debate, which was to address the youth unemployment and its effects caused by international outbreak of COVID-19. During this time, I was able to appreciate the animated contributions made by youth parliamentarians across the Commonwealth. I was pleased to see these young people debate the bill presented. I am convinced that they are aware of the issues which affects us and are paying attention and taking notes, and that is why they were able to make such an impressive contribution, Honorable Sharie De Castro further added. Now, the event was held in sessions and committees where other topics, including social affairs, jobs, and workplace, as well as health, were discussed. The Commonwealth Youth Parliament provides an opportunity for young people from the Commonwealth to experience aspects of parliamentary democracy and provides a platform for them to establish links with like-minded peers. The event also provides experience of real-life working parliament or legislator. In the program, former parliamentary practice adapted from several Commonwealth countries is followed, and the proceedings are observed under the watchful eyes of experienced parliamentary officials. The Commonwealth Parliamentary Association exists to connect, develop, promote, and support parliamentarians and their staff to identify benchmarks of good governance and the implementation of the enduring values of the Commonwealth. Kyla, when I began this newscast, I identified Honorable Sharie De Castro as a trailblazer, and really that's what she is.
Definitely so.
Definitely when we examine, and even prior to that, but when we truly zero in on the campaign, she was definitely the person we look to as the voice of the youth, and she continues to make that representation within the House of Assemblies and, of course, within the government of the Virgin Islands. But it's very great and refreshing to see her not only lending her expertise to the amazing panel, 50 youth parliamentarians from across the region, but but also soaking up some of those ideas and, of course, bringing it back and injecting that back into our community.
Most definitely. Now, that is just definitely great stuff. Now, as we move on, Honorable Carvin Malone, Minister responsible for Health and Social Development, presents a check in the amount of $69,000 to the Health Services Authority. Now, the check was in honor of the summer students that registered and participated in this year's summer employment program at the BVI HSA. Now, the students were deployed in a number of areas. Now, Honorable Carvin Malone expressed that this is an indication of the government's commitment to BVI students studying in the health care field, and also wanted to send a message regarding the many other opportunities that are available within the BVI HSA. Now, listen to what he had to say.
To encourage our students who are studying in the health field, but we would like to send a message that there are a lot of opportunities in the health service, and we want to encourage persons to be a part of, whether it's EMT, whether it is going to be from the engineering point of view. So you need not only look in terms of being a doctor, nurse, allied health, or any of the other areas. There are a lot of areas in the Health Services Authority, and given our logistics in terms of so many islands, whether you live on Anegada, whether you live on Josephine Dyke, whether you live in Virgin Gorda, or here in Tortola, we want to be able to provide the services at top level, not because you are not on the main island, meaning that you don't get preferred services. We want to make sure that this happens, and this can happen best if we are able to involve our people from every aspect of it. So, Mrs. Pat Malone Smith, we'd like to thank you very much, for actually accommodating, number one, Dr. Georges as being a critical part in the original aspects of it, allowing the students to be paid until the payments came. Yes. The Premier had been a very active part of this, making sure that the actual obligation was, honored. Mm-hmm. And we've also had a number of our particular House of Assembly members who were participated in this and making sure that their commitment to the Health Services Authority is honored, and we're pleased at this point. And we have to thank you and thank everyone who had been involved in terms of making sure that that the students were able to experience the different services within the authority. So thank you again. So we'd like to hand this over.
Now we see where Honorable Carvin Malone basically speak to this program, and I think it's a very good program, Javon. Now the check was handed over to the acting chief executive officer, Mrs. Cedrine Smith Malone. Now Mrs. Smith Malone piggybacked on the minister's comments and expounded on the fact that the healthcare industry is not only looking for healthcare professionals like doctors and lab technicians, but is also looking for lawyers, IT specialists, engineers, etc. She said that the industry is wide open for young professionals. Now, Ms. Sylvia Barzy Lee, Human Resources Representative of the BVI HSA, that spoke to the summer program opportunity. She basically told us all the training that the students receive. Let's listen to what she had to say.
The students benefited well. They were assigned to various areas. They were assigned to nursing, medical imaging, laboratory, medical services unit, physiotherapy, all the various areas they were assigned to. And I think that the students had a good time. They learned a lot of things and stuff. So I think it's going to be a good background for all the students for the futuristic plans for the future in the medical field. So I think it was a positive initiative.
Javon, awesome initiative. I love to see our government really investing in succession planning and giving that training to our young professionals and our students from while they're even going to school. I think that type of experience is very important for our students as they basically forge their part in how they will contribute to the British Virgin Islands.
Absolutely. And, when we think about our health capacity and our ability locally, we are more than capable, Kyla. So I'm very happy to see us strengthening that. And of course, viewers, there's so much more coming up after the commercial break. Again, Miss Kamala Harris is now set to have an amazing inauguration come January, and we have all the details, so stick with us.
Father Jesus, that line you long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man, forget you.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now, a collective of Caribbean American and Caribbean organizations will be presenting a live virtual Caribbean inauguration party under the theme celebrating #Caribbean American Kamala. Now, Caribbean American voters turned out in huge numbers to select the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris ticket on November 3rd, 2020. On Dr. Martin Luther King weekend, January 17th, 2021, there will be an impressive gathering in cyberspace with some of the Caribbean's most notable artists, dignitaries, and organizations globally to mark another dynamic moment in history, the pending swearing-in of Harris as the first Black and female Caribbean American U.S. Vice President at the 59th presidential inauguration. Now, the 56-year-old Harris is the daughter of a Jamaican father and an Indian mother. The dynamic virtual celebration is set to feature signature performances from some of the Caribbean's top entertainers, including Jamaican-born dancehall star Florgan, and will be co-hosted, by the first Black woman in a James Bond movie, that is, of course, Trina Parks, whose roots extend to Barbados through her mother and to Antigua through her grandparents. Now, also set to perform from Barbados are soca king Edwin Yearwood of All Aboard fame, Crossfire of Pump Me Up, as well as rising stars Tony Nerville and Kirk Brung. Jamaican gospel singer Joan Myers is also on that lineup, of course, of the Can't Even Walk fame, independent Jamaican artist Janine Colul of Sway fame, Owen Dawhouse, and so much more. We even have Guyanese Manez de Griot and Shanto along Frankie McIntosh and Maxi Gavaya and Rashid Thorpe. Now, de Griot, an African spiritual leader, herbalist, and master drummer who has performed at the Million Women March and tribute to the ancestors, will also open the event with a powerful outpouring of libation to the ancestors. Now, this is such a proud moment for so many people, including Miss Prasad, who is a journalist in the United States. And she said, this is a historic moment for all of us as Caribbean people in the United States. And I think, Kyla, come January 17th, the world will witness something remarkable.
Definitely.
Something that is definitely going to be etched in our history and something that we can be proud of.
I agree with you so much. But viewers, guess what? That is it for today's news roundup. Be sure to like us on Facebook at 284 Media and 284 BVI on Instagram as well as Twitter. It is always my pleasure. I am Kyla Kenesha Forbes.
And my name is Javon Wilson, inviting you to join us again tomorrow for your honest, local, regional, as well as your international content right here on 284 News for 284 Media. Thank you so much for joining us.